Over the past few weeks, I've run into several people who told me my videos are the reason they moved to Idaho, that after watching a bunch of them, they decided Idaho is the perfect place for them, so they packed up their stuff and they got moved here. But they also said they found out after a short period of time this is not the right place for them. So they're packing back up and they're going back home. Honestly, that makes me feel sick to my stomach, thinking that my videos got somebody to pack up all their stuff, spend all that time and money getting moved, and only to find out this is not the right place for them and they have to move back. I really do not want anybody to move here if they're not supposed to be here. So in this video, I'm going to share a very personal story about when my family back in the 90s moved away from California, how ultimately the motivation to move here was not the right motivation, and it wrecked our entire family. It's obviously worked out for me. I'm still here. I still love it here. But ultimately for my family, it was disastrous. And I hope you, if you're watching this and you're on the fence about moving to Idaho, you watch this entire video and hopefully learn from some of the lessons that my dad had to learn the hard way. Hello and welcome to another episode of Living Life in North Idaho. If this is your first time to our channel and you're interested in knowing more about what it's like living, eating, working, playing, and buying real estate, then this is the channel for you. Make sure you tap the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so every time I come out with a new video, you get notified. And if you are serious about getting moved to Idaho, you're on the fence and you need some more information, or you've decided Idaho is absolutely the right place for you, make sure you give me a call. I can go through some questions that will really help you know for sure if Idaho is the right place for you, or give you the information that you need for you to make that decision. Day, nights, weekends, reach out anytime at the phone number and email address listed below. We love helping people get moved to the state if this is the right place for them. So my personal story starts back in 1987, 2 years after I was born in Santa Cruz, California. The laws had changed in California. The government decided that apartment buildings should not be such a good tax haven for investors, so they changed the law, and my dad, a commercial real estate agent at the time, went bankrupt. So he was very, very angry at the government, very angry about what had happened, didn't really have any other skills, so he went back to chiropractic school. And after 4 years, in 1992, he completed school and decided that Idaho was the right place for us to move to. Now, he told people the reason we're moving to Idaho is because all of the wonderful nature, the lakes, the wildlife, the mountains, the clean, fresh air, and the political and religious freedom. Now, this was back in the 90s, and the problems back then that seemed like a really big deal were they were cracking down on corporal punishment of children, giving kids more rights, and they wanted stricter gun laws and vaccine laws. And the really big news was that Disney had given a large sum to a homosexual nonprofit. I mean, by today's standards, those seem like pretty minor problems, but it was enough to get my parents to go, you know what, let's get out of here. Let's move to Post Falls. So we did. We moved to Post Falls. We started at a new church. We were homeschooled, didn't get vaccinated until I joined the military, and everything seemed pretty good. But the real cost of that decision started to become apparent over the years. And even though California was heading down this more progressive path that my parents really did not like, California had something that could not easily be replaced and was extremely valuable. It had every member of my extended family, everyone I had grown up with, all of my childhood friends, and almost all of our favorite family memories. And because my parents only took us back down to California to see our family a handful of times, it only took a few years before we pretty much lost contact with everybody. So that was really difficult, but there was actually something much worse that was happening under the surface. Because my dad made that decision to move to Idaho based on fear, when we got here, he pretty much was looking for affirmation that he made the right decision, that he wasn't being irrational. That was the right decision to make. So everyone we met, he was there telling them the truth that he was getting from Rush Limbaugh and later on guys like Glenn Beck. He wanted everybody to know, and anybody who didn't agree with him, including his own family, he would chastise, he would judge, he would tell us that we're ignorant, you don't know. And so over time, anybody who got close to us basically didn't want to have anything to do with us unless they followed that ideology. And because back then in the 90s, being a chiropractor, you're a doctor, right? And we're a good-looking family and we go to church. So a lot of people trusted what my dad was saying. There were quite a few that had lived here for a while that went, we don't want anything to do with that. There were quite a few that said, yeah, no, I believe you. I think you're right. So growing up with that was really difficult, and it took a heavy toll on me, my siblings, and my mom. And over time, I watched my dad go from this happy-go-lucky guy who liked to hunt and fish and ski and have fun, become a really angry individual, someone that had to be right, who had to tell everyone the truth. And if you didn't want to hear it, it's like he didn't want to have any kind of connection with you. My dad ended up losing everything. He lost his wife, my mom, who was a wonderful woman. He lost his relationship with me and my siblings because it was more important for him to be disciplined and be right than actually show love and acceptance. And the saddest part is he has no relationships with 8 grandkids. It truly took a massive toll. Now, here's what's really crazy. A lot of the things that my dad was saying over the years that caused so many people to not want to be in relationship with him are ending up to be pretty much true.
New reports paint a devastating picture of the worsening crisis on our southern border.
Ontario, Canada, our neighbor to the north, has just passed a law giving the government power to take children away from their families if the parents do not accept the child's chosen gender identity.
30% of U.S. adults still don't want to get the COVID vaccine, but they may not have much of a choice.
Our media looks more like state-run propaganda than it does news. Our food is being sprayed with toxic chemicals and being blended with stuff that's making us fat and sick. And our constitutional rights are getting trampled on by politicians that seem hell-bent on wrecking the American dream, and on and on. So it seems like my dad was very right about a lot of things. And maybe he's right about all of it. But he got one thing very, very wrong. So whatever is going to be coming down the pike, whatever disaster might happen, is going to pale in comparison to the damage that's been done by him letting his fear drive his decisions to take us away from everybody we loved so he could live in a place where people thought more like him. Now, I get it, guys. Things look very dire right now. And a lot of the problems that our country and maybe even our world are facing, Idaho seems to be a great solution. But don't make the decision to move to Idaho out of fear and chasing safety. Move to Idaho because Idaho is a beautiful, wonderful place that matches your hobbies, likes, and interests and makes you feel more happy and free and at peace. But no matter where you move to, make sure that you don't abandon the people you love and the people that you care about. Now, you're probably watching this going, you're a realtor, why are you telling me this? Exactly. I make money from people getting moved here, buying and selling houses, right? So if I'm telling you this and it's going to take away money from my pocket, I hope you know you can trust this. Overall, I want Idaho to be amazing over time. And getting a bunch of people that are moving here because they're afraid and they're angry and they have to feel right is not going to do any good. It leads to destruction of families and relationships. And having witnessed it firsthand, I don't wish that upon anybody. I'm not saying don't move to Idaho. I'm saying really question your motivations. Now, I know not everybody knows how to do that, right? This is a skill that I've learned, and I'm about to teach you what can really, really help. And hopefully you can use this with other major decisions in your life. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you have a ton of information about what it's like living here. You should have a really good picture. But if you haven't, go and watch some more of my videos, take some notes, and then come back and try this out. Try writing out a pros and cons list of staying where you live currently, and then another one with getting moved to Idaho. Now, don't just look and go, see, there's way more pros than cons. look at the cons and weigh them out. If the cons are, hey, we're going to have to move away from everybody we know and love, but that's not a big deal, we can overcome that. Really think about that. How are you going to overcome that? Can you still afford to go and visit them? Are they going to want to come visit you? Relationships are super important, especially if hard, difficult times are ahead of us. You're going to want that support. And those people can oftentimes help keep you balanced. Now, this next tip for deciding if Idaho is the right place for you, this is some next level advanced therapy stuff. And it might not be for everyone, but I have used this to make major decisions in my life. I actually used it to decide if I really wanted to get remarried to my wife that I have now, and it worked. My life has 10x gotten better, so I do believe this works. So those pros and cons lists that you just made, I want you to take those, and I want you to go to a room that you can be alone and it's quiet, and I want you to sit and put those pros and cons lists in front of you. And I want you to go through each one really thoroughly. And once you've done that, if you close your eyes and you imagine staying right where you are, you don't move. You continue to invest in your friendships and relationships, you keep your job or whatever you're doing, and imagine that some of the problems that you're worried about happening, they start to happen. And you have your friends and family around you and you decided to stay and you write it out. How does that feel? What's your gut telling you, or your heart? So once you've done that, then go and imagine that you've moved to Idaho, that you're starting your new life here, that you're overcoming the challenges of getting everything changed over and creating your new habits and hobbies, and the problems that you're worried are starting to happen, and you're here in Idaho. But you're not with all of your friends and family. You've had to make new friends, maybe find some new family, I don't know. And then how does your gut feel? How does your heart feel about that? If your gut is saying you need to stay, that you don't get a good feeling thinking about moving to Idaho, you have to listen to that. And if your gut or your heart is saying, absolutely, Idaho is the right place for you and you need to make this happen, you have to listen to that. I'll tell you, our instincts, the society we live in today, does not encourage us to listen to our hearts and to our instincts. But we have an eternal knowledge that knows, somehow it knows the future. And it doesn't mean everything's going to work out perfectly, but it knows you and it knows what you can handle, and it knows where you're going to thrive and where you're going to wilt on the vine. Now, again, you might be going, Trent, what are you doing, dude? You're just a realtor. What are you talking about? Just tell us to move to Idaho. I'm not going to do that. Because in times like these, I am not my profession. I'm a human being trying to help other human beings, because every day I see viral videos of people absolutely losing their minds. And when they do that, and it's on the internet, their lives are destroyed. It's very sad. And if you make decisions based on peace, love, and joy, peace, love, and joy will follow you anywhere you go. If you make decisions out of fear, anger and hate, fear, anger, and hate are going to follow you everywhere you go. And it's not going to be super apparent. Sometimes it takes years, but over time, it does take everything from you. So that's it. I'm off my soapbox. I don't always make videos like this, but my heart, after talking to those people who are like, oh, Idaho's not right for me, I really wanted to share this with you guys. But if you are having questions, if you're still definitely go and do what I said, I think. I mean, if you're willing to do that, the pros and cons lists and taking some time to really feel and think about it, that can be really, really helpful. And maybe it will, make you unsubscribe because you're no longer interested, and you're welcome. And maybe it's made you go, no, Idaho's definitely the place for me. And if that's the case, you know how to get a hold of me. Day, nights, weekends, it does not matter. Call, text, email. I love helping people who know Idaho is the right place for them, get moved here. So just reach out. Until the next one, guys, I'll see you later.